going live in 3, 2, 1. Take it away.
All right, welcome back to No Reset DreamHack 2020. Again, fantastic race with Resident Evil Outbreak with level best JWR Harding. Up next, right now, though, we have Saw with our next runner, Ecdycis. Take it away.
Hey, thanks Enigma. Hope you're all having a good day, everyone. I'm Ecdycis, and I'm doing a licensed video game of the game Saw, which people don't actually realize exists. I like this game. I think it's a very interesting game. Anyway, I can talk more about it in a moment, but ready to give it the countdown. I'll make sure to... I was watching it last run. I'll make sure to go through the 3, 2, 1, and then we'll do all that jazz. So, ready to count down?
On your mark.
All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. So, before I begin anything, Saw the game's really weird because this is like supposed to be a quick time event puzzle where you have to like look for the button and press it, or else the reverse bear trap will kill you, right? The way this game works, though, you just mash every single button and it works, and it's kind of amazing. Because this game didn't really know what it wanted to do for certain puzzles. So normally for a stressful QT kind of like that, you would want to like, take your time, make sure you push the right buttons. And this one, it's all just kind of brute force every solution you can. And you'll kind of see our main character is doing this by shoving his hand in dirty toilets. Kind of going on to what this game is about for you Saw fans out there. This game is a sequel to the first Saw movie. Weirdly enough, I guess this was made after Saw 5? Like, the development timing is weird because Konami actually made this, and this was actually the same engine that would go on to make Silent Hill Homecoming, which I know, since Enigma is announcing, he knows all about that game.
Yeah, actually, Homecoming came out before, like a year before this game, so I gotta say they were probably in development side by side. If they came out that close.
They use the same engine, and it's wacky. This game will have a lot of odd quirks like that. So far as a speedrun, it's mostly just straight up horror. We kind of just run through, make sure we survive. But you'll notice some odd quirks as we're going. I'll kind of explain more and more of those. One thing I kind of glossed over in the beginning is every chapter is based on a certain character. So first level is going to be Amanda, who you remember from the Saw movies. I guess by the timeline of this release should be dead, but she'll be the first person we save. Also, this game is really weird in that it's just boxing. A lot of people think Saw is like this weird, like gory, torture-esque kind of series. The video game is all just punching people to death. Every fight we're going to do, the most efficient way we're going to do it is by punching them in the throat or other means. Also, this game has a lot of shotgun doors. We can actually keep count of that, and it's going to be quite a lot. I do a small skip here by skipping a cutscene by barely going through that door, and then I'm able to kind of go a little bit more forward. Hold on. There we go. I'm able to skip that and just kind of grab the tool I need to open the doors there. The game teaches you a lot of mechanics that we can quickly forget because only some of them are needed, which is quite nice. But the main thing, though, is there's going to be a lot of glass and shotguns everywhere. Overall, I really do like this game. It is a bit of a neat one, but you'll notice how prevalent shotguns really become, as you can see there. Now we're going to learn about punching walls. I take a certain angle on these walls because by doing so, I'm able to punch it 3 times instead of 5. It's much faster that way, but it's also kind of wild that Detective Tapp can just punch a wall down. Like, I've never tried punching... Are walls made out of, like, drywall, or... Either way, I've never tried punching a wall down, so I don't have much experience in that front, but... I can't imagine it's very easy to break down a whole wall, because I saw a wooden foundation on that wall. Anyway, a brief note to speedrunning, so if you may have noticed I picked up this knife. The knife's going to come in handy much, much later, and we'll kind of learn about a mechanic that we're going to be getting into later on in the game. But we can save weapons we get in the early game to use on late game enemies, because they give you really powerful weapons at the beginning of the game, and then you get nothing at the end of the game. So it's going to be kind of odd for that fact. I should mention as well, I am playing on the PC port of this game, which used to be on Steam, now it's kind of hard to obtain. But the PC port's a bit nicer for what we want to do, and as well, I make sure to play on controller. The main reason why is just because those balance beams are really hard to do on keyboard and mouse, because it was back in the day of, I guess, when the PS3 and Xbox 360 were a thing, so you had like perfectly balanced on those, and if you fall off, you instantly die. Which I was never a fan of those, but I know some people were. Also, another fun oddity is that you can just run through cutscenes like this one. It's supposed to be like, oh, there's the cutscene, but we're just kind of gone. And we can get more forward distance if we just keep holding it up. What we're now going to learn about is, I know a lot of people, their favorite part of the Saw movies is the Saw traps. Here's like one of our first major ones we're going to have to experiment. The answer is, it's just a matching puzzle pretty much. Find the pretty symbol. The answer is gun. So we go to the gun one. If you pick any other one wrong, you die instantly. It just blows up the room. A lot of the game will be doing stuff like that, which is always kind of funny to me. Although I just think the Jigsaw movies are kind of funny in general, in a sense. A lot of people do not like my opinions on the Jigsaw movies, because I think Jigsaw as a character is kind of stupid. But it's funny at the least. Anyway, the whole reason why we had to actually go over here was for one of the major mechanics in the game, which is going to be something called a coupler. Couplers are... I'm just going to call them batteries, because that's a better way of saying it, like fuses or batteries. There's going to be electrical panels that will help, give electricity to doors, so we're going to have to power these on. That being said, you need a coupler in order to actually get to the puzzle, which will then be this, it could be any size of grid, anywhere from like 3x3 all the way to 9x9 in the late game, and they get pretty damn big near the end. So getting good at those is going to be very important. If you're wondering as well how I kind of know what to do for each of those, there's kind of predetermined answers. Also, shotgun door. That's always RNG what that can be, so if you can predict it, awesome. If you can't, make sure you just time it properly. A fun drinking game for this is every time a shotgun comes on the game, take a drink. It's pretty painful. Alright, another fun part about this game is at certain points, like you may have noticed in the beginning of the game, there was a code that I instantly solved. All the answers are predetermined for the most part, for number codes. So I'm going to be getting a number code door where normally it's just look around the room, find the code, but this way I just run up to the door and I'm going to know it's going to be 579. He gives us a minute to solve it and we'll just look around, but I can just do this. See? Nice and easy. Alright, and now we are getting to the first savior puzzle. Every chapter is going to be ending with I'm going to call them savior puzzles. Essentially, we're going to be saving the person for that chapter. Which this one's going to be Amanda. Also, weird glitch, you can float. He just kind of balances on the TV and has his feet up. See? This does come in handy later for a few things, but I just think it's funny here because we have to wait a little bit. Alright, time for the first, well, I guess, savior puzzle or boss. The way this is going to go is it's kind of like a mobile game. Blue goes to blue, red goes to red. I use left trigger and right trigger here, and I want to make sure that they're constantly going the right way. And one of them is like poison, one's an antidote, and by going the right way, you'll ensure that Amanda's not going to die to the puzzle. Really, it's entirely easy once you know the pattern, which I think I have a decent pattern. Sometimes it's a bit tough to tell, but it'll swap once we kind of get the little bars on the right and left filled up. Overall, it's actually a pretty cozy section, because you just push right, push left, and then once you're at the end of this, you're all good to go. Most of the actual movement is just based on the gears themselves, so I'm not, like, moving the gears around, I'm just choosing blue or red, and I'm making sure the gears line up with where it's going to be. So it just takes a little bit of foresight to actually do the puzzle. And then it gets faster, and then there's more elements at the end of this, but overall it's pretty straightforward and one of the easier puzzles in this game. Which is really weird, because this is like a giant what-if scenario on what if Jigsaw, instead of having actual traps, made all of his deadly traps mobile games. Maybe that was the real villain all along, just the mobile gaming. Anyway, Enigma, if you have anything you would like to read, feel free to go ahead.
Just want to remind everybody of our new milestone since we hit the $9,000 incentive for the way back incentive for Desert Bus. Our next push milestone is going to be any percent D4 for Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels. That will be met at $10,500. So that will be our next milestone. And Desert Bus will be having a bid war coming up to determine the name of the driver. Right now, with a lead of $165.81, is Pepsi Man. And there are also options for No Reset, Slowpoke, Mooney, and Dom Dowdy. But Pepsi Man is winning. So if you want other options, go ahead and get your donations in for that as well. And be sure to keep on donating. I'll be here for this entire run. Go ahead and send me stuff.
All right. So right now we're in the next chapter of the game, which we're going to have a new person coming up. But right now we have a friend. Amanda's now hanging out with us. It's going to be kind of funny, though, because anytime we hang out with someone, it's very short-lived. All Amanda is going to be good for is just kind of yelling at us. She doesn't last very long. We can actually just, like, she doesn't even have health. You can just kind of beat her with a pipe and nothing happens outside that she scolds you. Which, you think getting hit with a pipe would make you want to do more than just scold. See, that's all Amanda does. You can do this with other people. Just Amanda's really the only one we have to wait with for a little bit, because we have to wait until the stores open. But once this is done, we get to see Tap do the smartest thing. Now, I know you guys enjoyed Detective Tap here shoving his hand inside of a dirty toilet, and I bet you're wondering, what could be better than a dirty toilet? Allow me to give you a hint. The answer to that question is a tub of acid. He just jams his arm straight on in there. Now, a reasonable person would think maybe I pour the acid, but no. Detective Tap doesn't have time for that. It's a speedrun after all. Also, you're playing the shotgun game. 1, 2. They put 2 shotgun traps back to back, just in case you missed the first one. The second one's there. If you're wondering, by the way, why I'm making such a big deal out of the shotgun traps, either you pass it or you die. So the tripwire, if you run over it, it's an instant death. If you open the door to a shotgun, it's an instant death. Detective Tap is strong against a lot of things like toilets and acid, but his one weakness is bullets. Anyway, speaking of shotguns, we're going to be getting a new mechanic in the game. We're going to get kidnapped on the store by the pig. And right now, we now have on a shotgun collar. The shotgun collar is going to be, well, another shotgun. But this time, it's going to have certain enemies in the game, where if I get too close to them, they are going to make my shotgun collar beep, and then if it beeps too much, I die by shotgun. This game really does, like, just loves its shotguns. So the goal right now is going to be getting that valve so I can make it past all the steam that we saw there. And we kind of get the introduction to the enemy I just talked about. It's a bit RNG on how he acts. Since, you know, we're doing the marathon and everything, we're going to play it nice and safe. We're going to be using our greatest friend to defeat him. And the answer? Another shotgun trap. See? Not only are we weak to shotgun traps, everyone else is too. So at least it's fair game. It's not one of those games where it's just like everyone can just tank shotgun bullets, but you're the only one who just dies instantly. So at least it's fair, right? Doing that's much safer, but in theory you could just run back to the end. Weirdly enough as well, the final boss you can use the shotgun trap on, but they take like 2 damage from it. It's like very little when you think it kills everyone else immediately. So it's one of the weirder quirks about this game. Anyway, now that we got everything we need, we can make our way on back to where I dropped the knife earlier, and we can kind of get to the end of this level, or I guess the midpoint of this level, so to speak. Also, we have another shotgun collar enemy. Avoiding these guys is very easy because then they end up just dying if you get far away enough. The only time it ever poses an issue is if you need to multitask during these. Also, right now we're going to be having another timed coupler room. We need to find a coupler. It's going to be in this room, and once we're in this room, it's going to be a shotgun door. Why? Very often when you're searching lockers, it's RNG on what you can get. Some things will always kind of be predetermined. So a good example of those is I could get a coupler like guaranteed and one of the lockers in that area, but every locker in the game has a random chance to also spawn another coupler, which can be very good RNG later because there's going to be moments when having that extra electrical panel coupler is going to be very, very helpful. Also, you can see now we're back here, and we can do this. In theory, if you could walk past that steam, you'd be able to immediately just bypass getting the valve, but steam is deadly. It burns. I guess it, yeah, literally burns you, doesn't it? I never suffered a steam burn, but I hear they're very painful. Also, I know we have shotgun fans, and I know I'm mentioning shotguns a lot. We have shotgun fans, but let me show you something. Shotgun trap. Which, I guess is kind of going to a story-based question for a little bit. How did Jigsaw get so many just shotguns and like broken shards of glass? It's always my big question whenever I run this game. Like, how did he get all the supplies for this? All I know is he's supposed to be an engineer, but he has shotguns literally everywhere. Okay, now we actually get to do a really cool speedrunning skip. I mentioned earlier, steam is deadly. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be standing right here, and then we're just going to run past... Oh, well, hold on. I'm going to be just running right past the steam. By doing that, that guy dies, and we kind of avoid having to do a lot of valve spins. Normally you'd have to run all the way through here, spin the valves, make sure you turn off the steam. But by doing this, I'm able to bypass this entirely, and I can just go immediately to the end, which is much, much faster. We're also going to be fighting the first major boss of this game. Every time you kind of go through new chapters, newer enemies are introduced. By the way, if you're wondering why everyone wants to kill us, it's because Jigsaw put a key in our bodies. So everyone wants to get that key from you. Alright, let's go. Alright, time for one of the toughest boss fights in this game. Now, since you know Konami made this game, you know there's going to have to be a shape-headed person. So instead of the pyramid head, we get the cube head. The way the fight's going to go is I'm just going to get my knife, we stab, and we punch. He's dead. I find it hard to believe he just goes down with one punch, but I guess getting stabbed as well is kind of pretty rough. Alright, so the way these puzzles are going to work is they're always predetermined answers, and I'm just kind of looking for a general starting spot. And then once I have that, I'm pretty much good to go for a little bit. It should be that, and then one more. You just kind of want to keep a lookout for some of them, because they'll always be the same pattern. It's just the starting position that changes. Anyway, now we can get on out of here. That was the first major boss of the game. Very quick, as you can see. And now we're going to have to avoid the steam explosions. Tap's just going to, like, very casually run away from the explosion. Everything's going to be blowing up around him. He just briskly jogs on out. It's pretty great. Like, watch. But as I mentioned earlier as well, remember, every level is actually ending with that savior puzzle. So we'll be having the next one coming up very soon. And you can take a while to guess what kind of mobile game they use for that. As well, I do have a mild amount of RNG coming up. Ideally, I'm going to want to be able to get a bat weapon. Because bats are the best weapon for me on this next part. Depending on the runner, you can use different weapons. And any weapon can do the upcoming glitch you're going to be doing. But personally, I like the bat. Just the arc of the swing is way nicer to me. Let's see if I can bait this guy coming out. He does not follow, but we'll do a glitch where he just kind of phase through the wall. And then allows us to turn this valve. As well, we have another shotgun. But this time we just kind of open it, we're safe, and then we're good. Ideally, I want a guy to start chasing me. There he is. I want him to follow me because I want to kill him and take his bat, ideally. Now, this game's kind of buggy because, well, you know, it was made on the same engine as Homecoming. That being said, sometimes when you kill enemies, they don't drop their weapon. So we're going to punch this guy in the throat until he dies. Alright, he's dead, and the bat just kind of vanished into thin air. Unfortunate for us, but, well, we're going to have to see if we can get a bat. Worst case scenario, it's... Wow, he dropped a lot of health. I'm taking this pipe just in case. So, while we're making our way over to the next puzzle, or the next, like, little boss fight, I'm going to kind of mention what we're trying to do. There's going to be a timed waiting section where you have to defeat a couple of goons, and then once the time is done, you fight the bigger goon, who's going to be a new introduced enemy who's really beefy. The thing is, you can actually kill him and loot his body before the timer actually runs down if you attack his cage at the right angle. So ideally, I like using the bat to kind of just swing inside his cage, which is really neat. It's kind of funny to imagine just kind of beating a man from behind a wall. and then looting his body, because Tap can apparently phase through walls. Ideally, I would want a bat, so I'm going to try killing the guy who has the bat coming up, but if we don't get it, I'll have to try using the pipe, which does make me pretty dizzy, but outside that, it's doable. And the worst case scenario, we just have to wait for the timer to run down. It's a very easy fight. The guy on the right has a broom handle, and the guy on the left has a bat. We're going to try killing this guy, so let's punch him. But, alright, he just kind of phased with the bats. That's unfortunate. He dropped his weapon, I think. No, he didn't. He's just dead. Well, he did drop his weapon, but I need my pipe. Where'd my pipe go? Did they take my... Did they take my pipe? Well, I guess I'm using the mop handle. Alright, well, let's try this out then. They stole my pipe. Okay. So the general idea is you want to try spinning with this one, and you kind of hear on the inside I managed to hit him. You got to hit him 3 times. So what you generally want to do is you want to, like, begin the attack, and then you want to immediately spin so your, like, the back of your hand is in the cage. So far, so good. And you can see he's just trying to beat me up. This is even better because the way this works is we make him hear us through the wall by rubbing up against it, and we kind of just piss him off. It's kind of like, you ever been to a zoo and they tell you don't piss off the animals? It's kind of like that, but with, you know, murder. I did kind of get unlucky not getting the bat. Oh, one more, I think. Come on. Come on. Almost there. Oh, your cage is open. Okay. Well, he's dead now. Don't worry. If my pipe didn't phase out of reality, that would have been a bit easier, but I have no idea where my pipe went. That's just kind of a good indicator for the game when you think about it. Anyway, this is why we have marathon estimates. And now we get to the next puzzle. The next puzzle is going to be pretty straightforward. It is one of those medieval, like, James Bond swinging things. It's also just going to be gears. You have 3 sizes. Make sure you put them right. It's always going to be predetermined. It's pretty great. So, it's a pretty fun puzzle once you get the hang of it, and you can go pretty quickly. Ideally, if you go faster and faster, you'll ignore a cutscene where he's complaining. Which, if he complained less, we'd be able to save him faster, but, you know, I guess people aren't very happy they're in jigsaw traps. I guess in all fairness, I wouldn't be very happy either, so I can't really give them too much, flack. Either way, no cutscenes, so that was really fast. And it always lands there. Barely saved him. Also, since our main character is very good at making friends with people, as you can tell, he's already left us. So we have no friends, and he is now gone. Okay, so there's going to be 2 paths. Blind, sighted. Now, blind is faster. We're going to blind. If you're wondering, sighted is like a bunch of small, like, short, very slow shimmying parts. And then you have to, like, time your way between, like, slamming wall thingies. Blind is just a room full of oil barrels, and if you light your lighter, you will die. So that's why this one's harder. But the thing is, since we're speedrunners, I just know the route innately. So I can just immediately find the exit in, like, 15 seconds. And now we're out. See, it's very easy once you get the hang of it. When you're starting to run this game, that's actually a very hard room, but once you get the hang of it, it just, you know, that happens. Okay, so time for another skip, and this game's going to kind of show its, you know, homecoming engine in action. So we're going to rub up against this table. By doing so, I'm going to be able to get some height, and I'll be able to land on the table with the TVs. Come on. There we go. By doing this, I'm skipping a significant portion, and I'm able to just kind of walk through the wall. We can actually use this in other areas, but there haven't been as many applicable uses just yet. Like, I've been able to get onto things, but there's nothing as convenient as that wall, as you can see. It's still cool to be able to do, and that's also kind of what the Amanda glitch I was doing, where it's kind of floating on the TVs was. It just kind of detected Tap's physics messing with the environment. It's actually a really neat skip. Also, this guy's just gonna shoot his brains out. Luckily for us, he has a gun, and we're gonna be taking that gun all the way to the final boss. Also, you guys get to hear the sweet, sweet sounds of Detective Tap choking. There's going to be a point in the game where we're solving puzzles in poison, and it's just going to be Detective Tap making his sweet choking sounds while we're trying to focus. And it's always kind of funny to me. Anyway, now we have gun. And this gun is so powerful, we're literally taking it, like, I think we're on level 3 and there's like 7 in this game. So we're taking it through 5 whole levels, essentially. Alright.
We got time for any donations?
Of course.
Alright, we got 2. We got a $2.97 donation from the Level Best, who said, I had 2 goals with this donation. 1, I wanted the number to read $9,009.09. And 2, I wanted to ask Ecdycis, is Mark Cuban your dad? You know who Mark Cuban is?
It sounds vaguely familiar, but I cannot...
He's the billionaire owner of the Dallas Mavericks of the NBA.
Don't know him.
Should look him up. I
Possibly.
can kind of see it.
Possibly. Yeah, don't know.
And we have a $100 donation from Exploded Soda, who says Ecdycis and Enigma. What a dream team!
That's a pretty good team.
Soda.
Thank you.
Thank you. I agree.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, I do not know Mark Cuban.
Go look him up. I can kind of see it.
I'll have to look it up after the run. But yeah, most of the way we've been going through hasn't been anything too crazy. Mostly just kind of routing through this. Also, time for our old friend Shotgun and Glass to make a big return. I feel like Konami just kind of went, hey, what are we missing from this level? Glass and Shotgun. So it's always there. Anyway, here's a puzzle that you would only know if you watched Saw 1 the movie. So if for some reason you played this game and didn't watch Saw 1, you're kind of just SOL. You have to find your dead partner's grave and take the key from there. Which you would only really... I don't remember if it gives you any hints, but you'd only really know that if you watched Saw 1. So it's kind of a weird one to throw in. I guess it's symbolic, but it's definitely one of the odder puzzles. Alright, time for the greatest puzzle section in the entire game. It's gonna be one of those meta puzzles that you don't think it'd be like it is, but it do. The answer is called patience. Guess what we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to wait. So I solved this to just kind of get another health kit, but we have time to chill. We have time to relax. Hope you all having a good marathon so far. If you're wondering, by the way, normally you'd have to look for the code to this door, which takes a little bit longer. You don't have to bolt it, you can just keep it unlocked. The explosion won't get on in here. But you have to kind of just trust your gut and listen to Jigsaw is the answer to this. So patience is the answer. We have to kind of get behind this door. In theory, if you're able to skip this, you would save like 3 minutes. But the only way I can imagine it being feasible is trying to get like a lift on top of this and then maybe walking to that wall. But there's actually no guarantee it's even, what's the opposite of solid? I'm trying to think about that.
Liquid?
No, not liquid. Like, you can't... It's like transparent, I suppose, kind of. So you can just phase on through it. So instead of a solid wall, it'd be like a wall of mist or something. I guess that'd be gas, but that's not what I'm kind of not what I'm getting at. Either way, we have a minute to just chill. So, it's one of my favorite puzzles in this game. It's also, I would say it's a good time for donations, but unless you have any more.
They are cleared out at the moment, but with the $100 donation that did get us closer, just to remind everybody, in case anybody just joined us immediately for our next milestone, which is Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels, the any percent D4 incentive. That'll be met at 10,500, so we're a little bit closer to that. And just a reminder, our the final amount for the RE-thon back in June was $12,085. We are officially 3/4 of the way now of breaking that record. So keep your donations coming in, and let's make some history. But thank you all for everything you've done, but we're not done yet. Keep them coming.
All right. Also, I checked chat, and I think someone mentioned it. Intangible, I think was the word I was looking for. That sounds more accurate than liquid. or gas.
I mean, you said solid, so...
Well, I was trying to think of the actual word, but I don't really think about, what's the word? Walking through walls very often. It's not something I have the ability to do.
Phasing through walls.
Yeah. Also, another dirty toilet. I want to note he just pulls out one of the needles and then they're all out. Also, you think he would just, like, you know, cover his arm with his shirt, but no. So, fun fact right here. There's a glitch that can happen if you mash the buttons, where you can actually phase through the floor and die. That's how you know this game's related to Homecoming. If that happens,
Don't
by
I
the
know
way...
it.
By the way, if that happens, guess where the checkpoint is? Let me give you a hint. It's at the beginning of Patience. It's weirdly punishing for that. Also, these are going to be a bunch of radio tapes where Jigsaw is calling the police and mentioning, hey, this guy has been murdered. Then when they ask who did it, he just kind of laughs at them. And it's also gives backstory on the next victim, who is the wife of your dead partner. But since we're kind of speedrunning, we're kind of ignoring most of these things. But this is going to be a fun time to mention, like, how weird Jigsaw is and what he does. Like, he has some very weird logic and story in the movies. My favorite time is when he threw someone into a saw trap for committing petty theft. Like, this is a genuine thing that happens in the movies. I hear people like, oh, Jigsaw never actually murders anyone. He is reasonable with his ideas. He put someone into a saw trap for committing petty theft. Like, I feel like getting a reverse bear trap for having to steal a candy bar is kind of mean. And there's a lot of weird ones like that I love talking about. I think my favorite one is the time he put someone into a saw trap because her husband couldn't get insurance. Alright, let's see. And right now, going back to the actual speedrun of this, you're going to notice these are starting to get bigger and bigger. That's going to be nice for us, though, because, well, they're fun to do. And I kind of mentioned earlier the way we're solving that is I just kind of have a lot of those... What are the... Wow, I love that glitch when it happens. Sometimes the key will just launch itself across the room, and that's okay. Also, this guy's just sort of chilling, so he'll be okay. Is he coming for the fight? No, he got stuck. Look at him, he's just chilling back there. He's not really doing anything. He's just sort of relaxing. That guy has like RNG where he'll get out, but very often he'll just kind of... It's the equivalent of, it's too far away. I mean, I respect it. I respect his decision on that, but it's pretty rough. Alright, time for the next boss fight introduction, or the mini-boss fight. I call him Pillow Hands, because he's wearing explosives on his hands. It's a very easy boss fight. You can take a while to guess how we're going to solve this. I'll give you a hint. We're punching him in the neck. Alright, boss fight's done. The only difference is he blows up when he dies, so that's why I kind of dropped the gun a bit further away. It gives me a good excuse to make sure I'm out of the blast radius, which then we can kind of just go to the rest of this. And we're going to be hitting that next survivor puzzle in a moment. This one's going to be another mobile game. And this one's kind of weird because one of them is RNG. There are 3 puzzles, one of them is RNG. The other 2 are always predetermined. The last one could be one of 2 results. I don't know why they made the last one slightly RNG, but they did. Also, another fun glitch. You can see Detective Tap's running at a base speed. If you aim and run, he runs really slow for some reason. Like, you ever watch, like, the old Chariots of Fire or, like, the Baywatch things where, like, they just run really slow? That's kind of what Detective Tap's going for here. Also, I'd have to wonder how Jigsaw manages to get the words on these TVs, like, when they come up. Like, they're perfectly timed with the speeches that they're both giving. I guess he's kind of like a court stenographer where, while listening to a court case, he's typing on a mini thing, and then it goes. Anyway, time for the puzzle. It is an Iron Maiden, which is actually one of the coolest things about this game. The gist of it is, there's going to be X's. If you go over too many of them, she dies. So don't go over too many X's. Or else, you know, it won't be pretty. And then, like I mentioned as well, the first 2 are always going to be the same. All that's going to matter afterward is the third one. And if you're wondering what the RNG is, one of the results will give you an extra cutscene, one will not. So we can manage to do this next one with technically no cutscenes if we got lucky enough. Let's see what we get. I got the bad luck, I think. Yep. So the other one would be one less cutscene here, but then we're good. And now we've made a new friend. It's our, you know, the dead wife of our partner who hates us because we got her husband killed. You know, just the standard in these saw traps. Alright. So, I bet you can take a wild guess what's going to happen in a brief moment with her. I'll give you a hint. She's not going to be in the next level. And she decides to leave us. I have to wonder why they even programmed in allies if they're just going to immediately leave. Either way, back to the actual game. This level is going to be one of the tougher ones in the game. Like, at this point, you're going to have to, like, use a lot of what you learned to kind of just make it through everywhere. And it starts becoming the real testament to this game. As well, I get to show you guys kind of a fun glitch that doesn't have much more than just being interesting, but it also kind of explains why Tap just jams his arm into these dirty toilets. And you have to understand, I have seen the inside of Tap's head, and I can tell you, he sticks his hand in dirty toilets because, as you can see, there is no brain in there. There's just a couple of eyes, a nose, and some teeth. He has some nice pearly whites, but he has no brain. Now, this is obvious because he's jamming his whole arm into a dirty toilet full of syringes. And, you know, vats of acid. Like, I'm not saying I would survive a saw trap if I put in one. I'm just saying, if I was presented with a key and a vat of acid, maybe I would try pouring the vat of acid before jamming my arm in there. Food for thought. Alright, let's see. I think we're coming to another fun section, which is going to be heavily RNG-based. Good RNG means we get a very fast puzzle. Bad RNG means we can possibly get, like, a ridiculous puzzle that has, like, 20 combinations. Also, another shotgun. The game really likes to sneak them up on you. Also, luckily for us, the door locks. That guy's just gonna straight up die. So, the answer is you're supposed to kind of, like, look through here and figure out what room you need to go to, but I already know it's gonna be that one right there. Also, you can take a wild guess what's gonna be behind that door. There's gonna be one answer. Enigma, do you like to take a wild guess what's behind that door?
I wouldn't have the slightest clue.
You wouldn't?
I
Oh,
wouldn't.
I'll give you a hint. It's a shotgun trap.
Ha! It's not a dirty toilet?
No, surprisingly not. Also, we actually got really good RNG.
Could have fooled me.
Exactly. But,
What does it say on the board there?
for which one?
The
Oh, we
one
just
that-
can't ignore that one.
Gotcha.
It's like pretty much trying to give you a hint, like, on how to do things. And you need to collect the pieces of the past in order to move forward, but the puzzle it leads up to is kind of silly. But with that one and that puzzle, it can be like 20 combinations. We got really lucky because it was just like 4. Which, if you get 4, that's amazingly good luck. So, what's the opposite of marathon luck? Because we got that.
Good luck.
Yeah, that! Also, time for my
Good
favorite
luck.
fight.
Old-fashioned luck.
This is just the fat guy. All he does is he yells, "You ruined my life," and other things. He's not happy with us.
The opposite of marathon lock is actually getting your order exactly as ordered at the drive-thru.
Yes.
Ah, the correct order. Okay.
It's pretty perfect. Also, these fat guys only exist to, I guess, have bats and yell at us. They just yell more often than anyone else, and they'll just keep saying, "You ruined my life." So I feel bad for them. Alright, so I'm going to let the gun chill right here. Our whole goal is actually to get behind this door. We need to solve a puzzle on this little tray. But in order to do that, we're going to have to make our way through some stuff over here. In theory, I figured, like, I thought maybe if you can get on those boxes, you can possibly get behind the door. But, like, I haven't been able to find a good ramp up onto the boxes yet. But we do have our own set of skips in the interim. And also, we have a Royal Rumble here. I guess not a Royal Rumble because it's not 30 people. I guess like 2 people coming up. But we're going to have a match of the century. It's going to be... Well, I guess we'll see when we get there. But also, just kind of the idea of more broken glass. Another thing I want to mention, which Tap is really stupid about. You may notice he's barefoot. Now, don't be wrong, I understand they remove his shoes. But you think the game would give you an option after you've, punched one of these people to death that you can just take their shoes and wear them? Everyone else seems to have shoes. Detective Tap's the only person in the game who forgot having shoes. Like, even if they didn't fit, like...
Maybe he's just a fan of Die Hard.
Maybe, but, like, there's glass. Like, even if the shoes were too big or small for me, I would, like, try to put them on, because I feel like the alternative is better than walking on glass. Alright, it's time for that fight. We have the Batman versus the Blind Man. We'll see who wins. I don't know why they're beating each other up when the goal is to kill me, but I'll take it. We're also going to be hitting another area where normally there'd be like a big puzzle to figure out the lock combination, but since they're all static, I don't have to worry about that. We're just going to immediately go to the results store and then kind of just skip the whole puzzle. Which, that puzzle's actually really hard because you're in like a room with mannequins, and you have to like turn on the light to find the answer, and it's actually really tough. But this way, it's just 206. And now we have to avoid pillow hands, just kind of ignore him. Close the doors on him. Oh, no, God, hope I don't get punched. Well, he tried. Bye, pillow hands. Alright, so I'm going to heal, just for safety. The way this is going to work is, instead of taking the way back, I'm just going to drop. I lose a lot of health this way, but it is faster than taking ladders. Because, oh my god, that was horrible RNG. Thank you, game. Very cool. Luckily, we have a good checkpoint. Although, I may have lost the gun. If I lose the gun, it's okay, because there is backup strat. But... that was unfortunate. That was, well, we went from amazing RNG to poor RNG. Anyway, let's try that again. 1, 2. That's how it's supposed to go. Normally, it does go that way. It just sometimes you can get unlucky and Tap will decide to fully fall down. Anyway, we're actually going to do a very minor skip. I actually did it earlier. You may not have noticed it, but I grabbed an extra valve in one of the rooms I was looking around. The whole reason I did that is so I can get this early. By having this early, I am going to be able to just solve the puzzle and leave this much sooner than previously before. So instead of having to wait and get poisoned and listening to Tap just cough his lungs out, we're going to be able to just leave immediately and make our way back. Right now as well, I bet you're wondering, what do these bags lead up to? Also, let me see if my gun's still here or not. Nope, my gun's gone. Alright, cool. It is a matching puzzle, alright? Like, I don't know what these are exactly called, but nobody likes these puzzles. I'm trying to think of like, what game may have one similar to this, and I'm kind of blanking on it, but they're definitely a fun one, aren't they? The answer is always the same, though, so it's not too hard to deal with. It's just more of a matter of kind of knowing where to go. That's right. No, that was right. Oh, hate that one. Sometimes the one at the top will get you if you don't see the colors very exact. Anyway, at this point in the game, I think they just got kind of lazy, because instead of having a new mechanic, they just give you electrical boxes. And this is why you have to kind of learn how all the couplers work. There are 3 of them. But luckily, when you speedrun this game plenty, you get really good at this mechanic. Otherwise, you would not be having a good time. In fact, most of the time save for this run ends up being this exact puzzle. Which is kind of funny when you think about it. Alright, we have one more. Should be pretty big. Even with the bad RNG of falling and losing the gun, this is still pretty good in terms of the run. We did really good on many other things, so I have no complaints on that. Alright, let's go. Let's see where we're at here. This is really the only part of the game I like ever massively need to focus, just because there's so many variables you kind of have to deal with. I think it's this one. There we go. Alright, that's the next chapter. But hey, don't worry, I think for once we'll actually be able to keep our new friend. You see, he actually wants to stick with us now. He's helping. We have a new friend who will stick with us for as long as he can. He loves us, in fact.
Go that way. I'll look in here.
He's dead. I mean, at least this one actually wanted to be with us, right? He tried. On the upside, I actually watched that cutscene recently. He doesn't die by shotgun trap. It's just like a giant, like, wall that collapses into him, and it's kind of wild. But good for him. Also, you may have noticed I ended up losing my gun. In the past, this would be a death sentence because the final boss fight's really easy with the gun. But there's actually really good backup strats that you can use against the final boss, which is very efficient and can one-shot it. So, it'll be quite nice, not the end of the world to lose the gun, but it's still unfortunate because you don't get to just shoot the boss to death. We do, however, get to put our arm in more dirty toilets. And we have one of the more awkward sections in this game. You're kind of going to be able to learn how powerful the shotgun callers can really become. I mentioned earlier that the timing of them is really rough. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to set another... Well, I almost killed myself. Neat. Oh, well, he died anyway. We're good. I don't know why it got me stuck there, but it did. But I like to make sure that he doesn't get up to us, because while we're spinning this, it still ticks down and beeps. Also, did he break the trap? No. How did he die? Oh, he's only back here. He didn't even make it. Wow. Okay, good for you. Sometimes you get really good RNG where he dies right on the ladder. Other times he's like right on you while you're doing the valve, and you can die with that if you're not like moving perfectly. So, since this is a marathon, I'm making sure that we can just be nice and safe. That being said, if you have anything you'd like to read, feel free to go for it.
We have a $3.13 donation from Master Freds7, who says, the protagonist is stuck with that collar. Guess he has to get jiggy with it.
It's pretty good.
That brings our total to $9,112.12. Thank you, everybody, for all of your donations, but keep them coming. Reminder, our next milestone is the 80% D4 run of Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels. That'll be at $10,500. And we have a few bid wars coming up here. The ones that I see here are the weapon to use against Proto Man and Rockman 3, the color palette in Super Mario Land, naming the driver in Desert Bus, and a whole lot more. So make sure you get your donations in, not just to support the charity, of course, but also to get those milestones met in all those bid wars. But keep your donations coming.
All right. Now we get to enter one of the more rough sections of this game. I call it kind of like a gauntlet sort of thing. We're going to have a lot to deal with in this chapter. I kind of mentioned one of the earlier chapters is the beginning of testing you. This one's really going to kind of hammer in if you've learned what you're doing. OB is probably the toughest, like, non-final level section of this game. Just because I think it's one of the longer levels, there's shotguns everywhere, and in addition to that, there's even more. Luckily for us, though, as we know, we can use the shotgun to beat the shotgun. So, we can just kind of ignore this guy. Closing the Roarnum's even better. There we go. This fall is also kind of risky, so what I normally end up doing is a minor glitch where you can just start healing, and then, while you're falling, he continues to heal. I like how, by the way to heal in this game is just jabbing the needle in his neck. It's all gonna be B. X. Damn. Like, I guess Tap maybe just really likes needles. He doesn't seem to mind them in his arm. He kind of just jams random needles he finds in Jigsaw's, I guess, playpen into his neck. Which, I'm not gonna lie, if I found even a needle full of medicine, I wouldn't go for my neck. Especially in the way he's doing it. So, what's coming up right now is the Coupler Gauntlet. There are going to be 2 separate rooms with 2 Coupler puzzles each. Or at least 2 major ones, I should say. You're going to have to turn them all on in order to progress to the final Savior puzzle. You're timed on this, and as well, you need to make your way through various puzzles. As well, there's mild RNG. Like I mentioned, looting the lockers can potentially give me another coupler, so I'm really going to be hoping that we get that. If we get that, that means I can skip a search in the final level, which saves me both health and time, because normally you'd be hearing Tap cough out his lungs, which I know we love the sweet, sweet sound of Detective Tap hacking up a lung, but hopefully we can bypass that. The first one's really easy. You just spin a valve. Coupler's always in this one because there's only one locker to check. And this kind of just get you used to the idea of the puzzle. As well, you can see the grids are getting bigger and bigger. This one, I think, is a 5 grid. And the next one after this, so not the one that we're going to after this, but the next room, will be a 7. I think 7 by 7. Which is mostly just kind of keeping in track of how that goes. And I did mention earlier, but I want to reiterate it once again if you're wondering how I'm doing these all so quickly. It's not so much that I'm really good at the puzzle. I got really, I guess, good at practicing these, and I kind of have the muscle memory on what to do. But whenever I'm opening it, I'm looking at what the puzzle is, and then there's always going to be base answers. So it's not so much on the idea that I am, like, just masterfully thinking about this puzzle. It's I know there can only be so many solutions, and as a result, I'm going to be able to kind of know which ones to move where on how it goes. And it kind of helps if you know where the pieces sort of go already, instead of just trying to wing it all in your head. And that's how most of the coupler puzzles go. You can get really good RNG or really bad RNG. Most of the part, though, is just kind of on your own preference and how it works and what your timing will be. Also, if you're wondering why Obi's in the trap, it's because I guess he wanted to be in a jigsaw trap. Like, that's his whole motivation. He wanted to be in a jigsaw trap, so Jigsaw put him in a jigsaw trap. Does that make him a villain or a hero, though, is the real question. Technically, he's doing exactly what he wanted him to do. It really makes you think. God. Alright, let's see. I got the coupler I needed. We can look around a little bit more, though, see what happens. Also, this guy hits like a truck, and that's why he says we've ruined his life. He hits very, very hard. He's probably one of the most terrifying enemies in this game, in fact, I would argue. Alright, looks good. Wait. There we go, much better. And then, one moment. Yeah, Jigsaw in general just has a lot of weird acts that he will end up doing as a result of this. Alright, these should be good. Nice, there's one. Let's play it safe and see if I can find another coupler in here. Oh, we did! Okay, good, good. Okay, so that's going to save me in the final level of the game. By grabbing that one early, I don't have to worry about it later. Also, time to listen to the sweet, sweet ASMR sounds of Detective Tap coughing. Also, you found an early coupler, so that's also really good. Instead of actually removing the poison, it's just going to be straight up faster to do the puzzle instead, and then just walk through the door. Although I do kind of like how he can breathe the poison perfectly for some reason. Also, another fun fact, he just kind of patiently waits for us to solve the puzzle. He's like, yeah, go ahead, you're good. Like, is he the nicest Jigsaw villain, or what? Like, if it's like a live or die based on how you do that, I feel like I would want to, you know, maybe get the guy beaten while you're trying to actually, you know, if he has to solve the puzzle, maybe don't let him just solve it, make him maybe deal with you first. But no, he's a very polite guy, as we can see. No.
He's probably Canadian.
Ah, yes. Makes perfect sense. Also, there we go. Perfect. Okay, now let's get out. See? They're just waiting.
You ruined my life.
We ruined his life. I always feel bad for him. He keeps saying we ruined his life. I don't know what we did exactly outside of existed, but we ruined his life. I do love the way he says it, though. He says it with such conviction. Anyway, in case you're wondering if they got creative with Obi's puzzle, the answer is no. If you've noticed, the steam puzzles or the valves, we're going to be doing more of that. Also, Tap can just stand on TVs. As they say, hey look, I'm in the TV. Okay, and now we can just go through here. And, oh, I need to grab the key. Alright, we have 3 of these. And the answers are mostly going to be the same. Like I mentioned, it's going to be a lot of just kind of knowing where to go and what to be doing for these. So if you're used to it, you should be good to go. Otherwise, they can be a bit tough. Most of this really just kind of comes down to memorization and practice. God, where are we for this one? Like, I always kind of look for the really long one and then the bendy one. And then, realistically, any kind of no knowledge or way you would be able to decipher this would be the best way of doing it. Like, I always kind of like to kind of break down how I solve these. Like, for instance, you can kind of see there's the long one, the bendy one, and then from there forward, you kind of just keep looking, and then it's very, very quick. Obviously, there's a little bit of RNG, but if like, you just kind of know what to solve these memorizations, it's much, much nicer, and that's also kind of how I've always memorized things. And it really helps in memorizing other games as well. Speaking of memorization, this is going to be the shortest and probably the easiest level, I think. No, I think the next level, or this level. I think it is this level. Also, here's Obi. You punch him in the throat. Alright, let's go. Yeah, I think this is the easiest one in the game. This is the second to last level. And this one's going to be really, really easy, mainly due to the fact that we don't have to do any of the actual stuff. Also, vat of acid yet again. The acid barrel. Like, at the very minimum, I would want to put, like, cover my arm with the shirt, man. Cover the arm in the shirt. Also, Obi now hates us. I mean, he's not wrong by saying we're throwing away our life, given that we literally put our hand in a vat of acid. Anyway, this one's really easy. Just solve the puzzle. It's 831. So, good thing I have all these kind of noted down. They're all really easy to type in if you know what they are ahead of time. So you just pop, it's in. So, time for the most RNG part of this game. It is just a matching tiles puzzle. I mentioned all the traps are just mobile games. And this is probably like the meanest trap in the game. Anyway, that is a saw and some pills. God, he got stabbed in the leg. Saw and pills. Alright, saw, pills, tape, foot. So we have pills and tape. Pills, cool. So the way this works, you have to match the item with the corresponding item. Alright, so you have recording and film. Oh, cool. This is good RNG so far. Heart, puzzle. Okay, heart, puzzle, tape, film. Heart. By the way, I feel bad for this guy because he gets stabbed and, like, unstabbed. Like, that's worse than just straight up getting stabbed, right? Like, I feel like I would rather just... I guess I don't want to get stabbed at all, but... Isn't the whole idea, like, keeping it in there is smarter than not? Also, this is really good RNG. Jesus. Like, I don't know what's with this game. We got, like, almost perfect puzzle RNG, but then, like, on a basic drop that never messes up, we got that messed up. That truly is the marathon luck, isn't it? Alright, it is now time for the finale of this game. We're going to have a boss fight, and we are also going to have a final puzzle to do. Now you're wondering, how do they end this great, great game? Well, this game's kind of weird. So, really quick, I know some of you in chat may have not seen the Saw movies. You know, they came out in the early 2000s. I'm going to spoil a movie from like 2000, I think 5? In the movie Saw 3, you learn who the pig is. Or I guess in Saw 2 you learn who the pig is. The thing is, though, the fate of the pig is kind of decided in Saw 3, the movie.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, we end up killing the pig in this game because the pig is the final boss. But, like, you have to wonder who's the pig because this game doesn't make sense with the actual movies. And this is why I think it's even weirder. Because I guess this game was in development since, like, the early 2000s somehow, but then they just moved it to the Xbox. Like, it's really weird on the game's development story.
Well, it's supposed to be canon to the universe, and it was like a story that they penned, an original story in the Saw universe that they made for the game. It's weird.
Yeah, I guess the problem of them needing a twist for every single movie kind of threw a monkey wrench in all the other Saw stuff. It's funny, though.
Kind of.
But yeah, normally you would just shoot the pig with the gun, and then they just, like, die by running towards you, and it's kind of hilarious. But we're gonna have to get a bit smarter. Alternatively, you can just box the pig to death. The problem is the pig can, like, infinite stun you and two-shot you. So, I want to make sure we avoid conflict with the pig. The pig is very, very deadly. But I want you to tell me if this relates to the movie coming up. I'm going to show you how the pig is dealt with. Let me know if it maybe reminds you of the Saw movies. I know they're very similar. But here we go. It's the final boss fight. I know it's going to be very tough, guys. It's going to be a very tough fight. See, there's the pig. Just running after us with the spiked bat. Oh god, hold on. You guys ever played Dead by Daylight? It's practically the same game.
Are we coming up on time?
Not yet. We don't end on the pig. The pig's just dead. By the way, the pig's immediately dead. Can I get your body? There you go. See? Easy fight. It's Detective Tapp's new perk, Electricity. Okay, so the way this game actually ends isn't with that boss fight, which makes the boss fight even funnier, because the boss fight's barely a thing. Like, the actual ending of this game all comes in the puzzles. And we're gonna have to do a couple of puzzles, both to kind of get the final choice and to see how it goes. I can actually pick good or bad, depending on how it goes. Bad's a minute longer, but I can kind of just leave it up to timing. If we have time, I'll go for the bad ending. If we are running, I guess, like, need just to kind of pick it on up on speed, I can just do the good ending. There we go. Very quick. For the speed run, we normally go with Freedom. It is slightly faster, but we can also show off Truth. We'll kind of see how it goes. I'll just kind of ask, G-Virus, are we behind or ahead on schedule? Oh, we'll see.
I'm looking at it. We're pretty on schedule. We're pretty on time.
All right.
Because according to this refresh, let me do it just to make sure. The next run would be Amnesia, currently set at 04 past the hour. So we're with 53 past the hour right now. So pretty on time.
All right, perfect. Very much perfect then. We'll see when we get there, just in case we get some bad RNG in the finale here. Anyway, normally you'd have to, like, snake your way around this big maze, but there's actually a skip found by a Silent Hill runner, Nub Zombie, and you just kind of walk on this platform. I kind of messed up the first try, but it's a very fast skip if you can kind of manage it. The only downside is this guy throwing Molotovs at you, but by doing that, you kind of skip the whole, you know, of going up ladders and trying to avoid everything. You just run through it, and it's kind of amazing. By the way, Konami apparently cheaped out on licensing because this sounds like the legendary Hello Zep song they use in every Saw movie, but they didn't get Hello Zep. They tried making their own budget version of the same song. And it's kind of funny because I feel like of all the things in the Saw series, that's like the one thing you probably want to have. I'm not sure why they made their own. That only lasts for one room. Alright, now I bet you're wondering, what's the final boss of the game? The true final boss is Poison. Since we got that electrical coupler earlier, we get to solve a coupler in Poison. So we get the sweet, sweet ASMR of Detective Tapp coughing his lungs out. Luckily, we actually got a really decent code. This one will be pretty quick, I think. And since it's thematic during marathons, I like to make sure I can show this off, provided we have time. We'll do the truth ending, because I know you all want, or you're dying to know the truth of what's behind all the shotgun traps. Oh, I need a heal. Heal?
The public has the right to know.
That they do. So if you're wondering how you know when to heal for this section of the game, you want to make sure, if your screen's going black and white, you heal. It's actually a pretty good indicator that isn't just your health bar. You can also just kind of listen to the sweet sounds of Detective Tap coughing out his lungs. Alright, now we can make our way back and we'll be able to see the truth. Now let's go. And you can really use the key for either way. This actually been a really good run for marathon time. Like, if I was gonna, like, just end the run right there, I'd pick Freedom, and then we'd be getting, like, I think, like a 103 IGT. Alright, truth. We're going to find the truth. So, in this way, you're supposed to be hunting down Jigsaw and catching him so you can put him in police custody. So we have to make sure we can actually get him now. And then we'll learn the truth of what's happening. By the way, the big deadly trap for the finale is just a barbed wire, like, walkway with very, like, it's close to you, but it's not quite touching you. He kind of just shimmies through it. Also, another fun way of this game's programming. I don't really know why. I figured the whole showmanship of this next part is meant to kill you. I actually thought for the longest time it would kill you. But, guys, look. Hold on. Oh, no! Jigsaw's kicking bookshelves at us! I better avoid it. Alright, we're good. I don't even know why they would include that if you can't die to it. Like, what's the point? Like, you would think, like, oh, we're in trouble, better watch out. Also, the way this game actually ends is with another nail puzzle, if you do the truth. And like I mentioned earlier, this polite gentleman is just going to kind of wait for us while we solve this puzzle and open the door. Oh my, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. Oh my god, that was close. Alright, he's trapped in there. Alright, and time.
Awesome.
Enjoy the ending. You'll learn all about the truth of who's behind all the shotgun traps.
Games are over. You're not gonna get a trial you can weasel your way out of. Pleading insanity.
Also, I don't think pleading insanity would work for all the stuff Jigsaw did.
I won't let you kill again.
We had a $2 donation from Master Fred 7 that said the pig faced a shocking end.
Aw, I like that one. Thank you very much.
Oh, you guys, Melissa's his wife or something?
Melissa was the wife of your dead partner.
Oh, okay.
We saved her earlier in the game, but she hates us, so now she's a part of Jigsaw's trap. It should also be noted that the dead partner died because of shotguns.
So
I'm just gonna mention that and not much else yet while we watch the ending of this. Because the ending is obviously very poetic and wouldn't do anything stupid in a licensed Saw video game, right?
Whoa.
It's a shotgun trap.
Wow.
Yep, the game just ends with the shotgun trap. Like, they really hammer in the shotgun trap. And then the bad ending is you get the intro to Silent Homecoming. You know that's the bad ending right here.
Yes.
Practically the same thing when you think about it.
Where
Anyway.
am I, man?
Where's my squad?
Oh my god, like, it's uncanny.
It really is. It really is. And that's how you know they use a lot of the same assets for the games. Anyway,
transition there. Yeah. Look at
Yep.
that. Wow, that's uncanny.
I'm glad you got to see it. Anyway, I do want to say thank you all for having me for No Reset. I've been Ecdycis. I do a lot of spooky games and spooky game speedruns. I hope you enjoyed Saw, and thank you once again. I hope you have a good rest of the marathon, everyone. Also, I'm going to see if the game crashes or not, because it does that very often. Hey, it didn't crash! Normally, whenever when we finish the game, it just crashes on me.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being with us once again. And that was truly a horror dynamic duo with Ecdycis and an Eternal Enigma.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Always a good time. Thank you.
For sure.
And Enigma, I just want to thank you for being with us tonight. I know you're signing off. This was your last run for the night, but
Yes.
thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it.
And thank you. Always a pleasure. Love participating in these. Thank you for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to drive in some cash for some good causes. And I will always be around, but I'll still be kicking around. But thank you very much for having me. It is a pleasure and an honor. Thank you.
Sentiment is mutual. Thank you so much. So coming up next, if you would do us the honors for one last time tonight, Enigma.
Yes, I sure can. Coming up next, we have Amnesia, The Dark Descent by the Nine Eagles, and that's going to be hosted by DDG. That'll be coming up next.